ulisema kwamba kuna watu walikutishia, kuna watu walikuuzia uoga wengi. Lakini baadhi ya wale watu ambao walikuwa wanakuuzia uoga, bahati nzuri tuko na mmoja hapa ambaye ni mkurugenzi mkuu halmashauri ya ubora bidhaa, Madam Esther Ngari.
If his life is in danger, it is not the business of this committee to endanger anyone. Yeah. But this man has information, Chair. Yes. And that information could actually be the only thing that we have been looking for since we started this entire journey.
Chair, with the evidence that we have, and especially so the one for SBR Innovate, that product was not certified by Kebs. I can tell you it was not certified by Kebs since 2022. And they were using that particular means of distribution because they knew it is not the normal market where we would find these products. Those products were not certified, and the institution that was responsible for the distribution never came to Kebs to even verify the documents which were supplied to them. Are they even authentic documents?
Yeah. Chair, looking at the presentations that have been made in this committee and to this committee, the CS of Agriculture is not clean. Chair, the CS of Agriculture is not clean. He has conspired. How was the tendering process done, Chair? Let me finish, Chair.
Solemnly swear that the evidence that I shall give before this Senate Committee of Agriculture in respect of the matters before the Senate, before this committee, shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God. Chair and honorable members, first I wish to clarify that I was invited to appear this committee on 11th of April 2024, and unfortunately I was not able to appear. I requested for a postponement. Reason being, I had been invited to be a speaker on an event which the Prime Cabinet Secretary was gracing in Mombasa, and I was doing a presentation which was being attended by all the regulatory agencies. Honorable Chair and members, I wish to make reference to the letter that was sent to us dated 3rd of April 2024 that invited Kenya Bureau of Standards to appear before this honorable committee today to shed light on the alleged distribution of fake fertilizer to farmers in various parts of the country. Honorable members, I hereby make my submission as follows. Kenya Bureau of Standards is fully committed to transparency and providing you with all the accurate information you need for your investigation into this matter. Your letter raised several key questions, and to ensure complete clarity, I would like to address them directly in my submission. Allow me to start my submission by first highlighting the mandate of Kenya Bureau of Standards as per the Standards Act, Cap 496 of the Rules of Kenya. This will put into perspective our role in the current issue of the alleged distribution of fake fertilizer to farmers. In my introduction, the role of Kenya Bureau of Standards is derived in the Standards Act, Cap 496 of the Rules of Kenya, and the functions of Kenya Bureau of Standards inter alia include A, to promote standardization in industry and commerce, B, to make arrangements or provide facilities for the testing and calibration of precision instruments, gauges, and scientific apparatus for the determination of their degree of accuracy by comparison with standards approved by the Minister on the recommendation of the Council, and for the issue of certificates in regard thereto. Part D, to control, in accordance with the provisions of this Act, the use of standardization marks and distinctive marks. And I, to provide for the testing at the request of the Minister and on behalf of the government of locally and manufactured and imported commodities with a view to determining whether such commodities comply with the provisions of this Act or any other law dealing with standards of quality or description. The Standards Act gives conditions on the use of standardization marks under Article 10 to buttress the function D above. which is to control, in accordance with the provisions of this Act, the use of standardization marks and distinctive marks. The conditions on the use of the standardization marks are as follows. Part 4 says, where any person manufactures or intends to manufacture any commodity in respect of which a standardization mark has been specified under paragraph B of subsection 1, he may notify the Bureau of his intention to comply with the approved specification and his wish to apply the relevant standardization mark, and the Bureau, if it is satisfied that he is capable of manufacturing the commodity in accordance with the relevant specification, shall issue him with a permit to use that standardization mark. Part 5 states, a permit issued under this section may be issued subject to conditions to be specified therein, which conditions may be varied from time to time, and any person to whom it is issued shall comply with those conditions. Part 6, no person shall apply a standardization mark specified under subsection 1 to any commodity except under a permit issued by the Bureau or a person acting under its authority, and unless that commodity complies with the relevant Kenyan standard or approved specification. To actualize subsection 5 above on the conditions on the use of standardization mark, Kenya Bureau of Standards signs a certification agreement, the scheme of supervision and control, which we have annexed as 1, with the manufacturer. The scheme of supervision and control specifies the following mandatory conditions by the client or the manufacturer. Under 3.9, standardization mark schemes requirements, the client shall, or the manufacturer shall, Part 3, not use the certification mark on a product other than one certified. Part 9, not use the product certification in such a manner as to bring the certification body into disrepute, and does not make any statement regarding its product certification that the certification body may consider misleading or unauthorized. The client makes claims regarding certification consistent with the scope of certification. Part 13, ensure that the products fully comply with applicable standards. 3.10 on the same, conditions for use of the standardization mark. The permit shall be issued subject to the provisions of the Standards Act, Cap 496 of the Laws of Kenya, which include Part 4. The right to use the mark applies only to the commodities listed in the permit. Part 3.1.1, indemnity. The permit holder shall be responsible for guaranteeing that all products which carry the standardization mark always meet the quality requirements specified in the relevant standards. The client shall only make claims regarding certification consistent with the scope of certification. The fact that any product complies or is alleged to comply with a Kenyan standard or approved specification, or has been or is alleged to have been manufactured in accordance with any such specification, or that standardization mark is used in connection with any product, shall not give rise to any claim against the government, the National Standards Council, and the product certification body, or any member or employee thereof. Part 3.1.2, changes affecting the certification. The permit holder shall inform the product certification body without delay of any changes, including and not limited to major changes in the scope of certification, product formulation, relocation of the product site, changes in organization status, changes in ownership, or stoppage of production, among others. The product certification body shall evaluate whether the changes will affect the certification. Kenya Bureau of Standards is a respected institution the world over by all its peers in the world of standardization. This is evidenced by the various recognitions that the Kenya Bureau of Standards has received over the years, which include but not limited to holding leadership positions at the highest global level. Kebs sits in the ISO Council among 20 countries that make strategic decisions for the organization with membership of 170 countries. Kebs also chairs the ISO CASCO, the ISO committee responsible for conformity assessment that develops policy and publishes standards related to conformity assessment activities, which includes quality assurance of the locally manufactured products as well as quality inspection of the imported products, the provision of testing services. Kenya, through Kebs, hosts and actively participates in the leadership and all the activities of African Organization for Standardization, a body responsible for harmonization of standards at the continental level.
A minute,
Yes, sir, with your kind permission, we have this document, and we seem to be going through a lecture while the crux of the matter is fairly simple, Chair, if you allow me, so that we don't go around in circles when we have a specific complaint to this committee, which was laid to this House by the Honorable Kalawale, the Senator for Kakamega, upon discovery of fake fertilizer in his county. And it is through that question which was brought here we are answering. Chair, with your kind permission, I would like to know from Kebs, instead of going around this because we have this documentation, and as a committee we are going to go through this together with our lawyers, the bag bearing the symbol of Kebs and the certifications of the contents belonging to fertilizer presumably originates from Kebs. And by the time you give that bag, which we are aware was packed these fertilizers, there must be some process so that somebody in Kebs have certified all the fertilizer which is going to be packed in this bag, so that the consumer believes if calcium is this amount of percentage, it is the one found in. Now, from our inspection, Chair, we have found that is not the case. Now, I want to ask the CEO of Kebs, who do you blame when your own symbol and certification you have given is what notice with the consumer and in huge amounts? Don't you have officers who even further go and inspect, and you should have been the first ones to alert Kenyans, other than sitting there and say you have already done your work perfectly all over the world? I thank you, Chair.
Nadhani mkurugenzi mkuu wa halmashauri ya ubora wa bidhaa, kuna maswali haswa ambayo uliulizwa katika mbaleo tuliokutumia. Unaweza jibu hiyo maswali alafu utaunganisha pia na swali ambalo limeulizwa na Senator Maanzo. Tuende kwa maswali ambayo uliulizwa. Hiyo ingine nadhani tutaweza kujisomea.
Thank you, Honorable Chair and members. I was just getting to the question number 1 that was asked. It's on page 4 of the document that I have provided. And the question number 1 was a comprehensive brief on the role of Kenya Bureau of Standards played in the procurement and distribution of fertilizer under the national government subsidized program. Honorable Chair and members, Kenya Bureau of Standards was not involved in the procurement and distribution under the national government subsidized program. The procurement, distribution, and any other activity in relation to the government subsidized fertilizer was overseen by other government agencies. I would wish to draw your attention to the Public Procurement and Asset Disposal Act, revised edition of 2022, section 150 on the contract administration, that states under subsection 1, an accounting officer or his or her appointed representative shall be responsible for ensuring that the goods, works, services are of the right quality and quantity. Under subsection 2, the head of procurement function shall be responsible for assisting the accounting officer to confirm the right quality and quantity of goods, works, and services have been delivered to the procuring entity and shall issue a certificate of acceptance to the accounting officer except where technical specifications are from another technical department or professionals engaged to work on behalf of the accounting officer. Under subsection 3, where goods, works, or services under subsection 2 are of technical nature and the specifications were provided by a technical department or professionals engaged to work on behalf of the accounting officer, that technical department or professionals engaged to work on behalf of the accounting officer shall be responsible for confirming the right quality and quantity of goods, works, or services have been delivered and issue a certificate to the recipient accounting officer. As Kenya Bureau of Standards, we never received any request from the procuring entity to confirm or to work on behalf of the accounting officer to confirm the quality of the goods being delivered to their stores.
Sasa MD, tuende pole pole. Kwa hivyo, venye unasema ni kwamba katika sakata nzima ya ununuzi ya mbolea ya ruzuku, substitute fertilizer, yote ambayo sasa iko katika halmashauri ya nafaka NCPB, nyinyi hakuna mahali mlihusishwa kujua hiyo mbolea ilikuwa sawa ama ilikuwa gushi?
Hatukuhusishwa kamwe.
Fertilizer zote, mbolea zote, sio hii peke yake, chemical zote ambazo walinunua.
Hatukuhusishwa kwa hiyo mpango wa ununuzi.
Tuendelee.
With your kind permission then.
Tunasema mpango wa kuangalia ubora wa bidhaa, certifying the quality of fertilizer. Mlihusishwa ama hamkuhusishwa kamwe?
Chair, in the entire process of procurement, tendering and procurement of the fertilizer under the subsidy program, Kenya Bureau of Standards was not involved at all.
What about certifying? Tuache mpango mzima ununuzi, tunajua nyinyi sio mlinunua. Walimuhusisha katika kuhakikisha kwamba bidhaa zilizoenda kwa wakulima zilikuwa sawa ama hawakumuhusisha? Nasema hivyo kwa sababu wakati unanunua bidhaa kuna mambo maalum lazima unafaa kufuatilia. There are some specifications that are given in the tendering, in each tender. You are the one who are supposed to make sure that some of these aspects they are followed. Zimefuatiliwa vilivyo. Kufanya hivyo lazima ungehusishwa. Tunanunua hii mbolea kama ni chemicals. Kwa hivyo tungetaka hii fertilizer iwe kulingana na venye tumesema inafaa kuwa ABCD. Mlihusishwa kuhakikisha kwamba iko sawa kabla mbolea injaenda kwa wakulima?
Hatukuhusishwa kamwe
kwa mbolea zote, si ndio?
Yes.
Yeah, with your kind permission then, on the same question, is it not your duty under the law, even before you are being invited, to make sure that every single product which goes to Kenyans, which has your symbol, in the first place before you release your symbol or the package, which we have evidence that we saw that it was being done, is it not your duty even to follow in the markets, test and create an alert to the nation and raise an issue without just blaming the other parties? What is exactly your role? Is it not also to inspect? And why will people go and sell products with your symbol if you have not been involved at all?
Thank you, Honorable Member. I will be getting to that answer in my submission.
See, that's what summarizes why we are here. I don't need a long story, a long lecture. I need that satisfied. By the time you release a symbol with a bag, and then by the time the product is in the shelves, it is also your duty to go and inspect without even seeking, approval of anybody.
Chair, if we may allow, maybe we could have let the CEO first of all make her submission, and then we list our questions so that we are able also to see what are the gaps, so that she can have a flow, and then we can list the questions after the submission.
Chair, whereas I agree with Senator Matinga, you know, this is a very long, it's a textbook actually. I don't know whether she is able, because it is your response, are you able to speak to your written submission, speak to it without reading word for word? Are you able to do that? Because if that is possible, then she can just respond to the questions and then we engage. But reading word for word, it would take forever.
Senator Mondegi.
Asante Chair. Hii swali langu kwa Madam Ngari. Unasema wewe ndio unapeana barua ya Kebs. Na ni kufikiria kwetu tukiwa nje tunajua kuna kidhibitisho ama kidhibitishi ambaye ni shell. Ile sisi tunafikia inaweza kuwa wakati manufacturer anatengeneza ile fertilizer, hiyo itakuwa hiyo kidhibitisho itakuwa pale kwa machine. Ndio fertilizer ikitengenezwa itakuwa inaweka hiyo shell. Ulikuwa unakaanga muda gani ya kwenda kuangalia sira yako ama imekuwa tempered nayo ama ule mtu ameiguza akaweka siri nyingine ndio atengeneze fertilizer mbaya? Unakaanga muda gani ndio uweze kwenda kwa ile manufacturer?
Mkurugenzi mkuu, kuna jambo ningetaka niseme kwa sababu swali ambalo unaulizwa, naona huko na watu wengi umekuja nao. Huko na kandamnasi ya watu ambao anaweza jibu. Najua kuna mwenye anasimamia ubora wa bidhaa uko na yeye. Kwa hivyo swali kiulizwa katikati, si lazima usome hiyo nyingine tunaweza soma kama ambao umeulizwa, kwa sababu venye Senator Manzo anauliza, na hii ndio nadhani unafaa uelezee kinaga umbaga kwa undani. Wakati unaenda kuweka muhuri ama kuangalia kama bidhaa ziko sawa, unafanyanga muda gani? Kwa sababu seneta venye wanajua ni kwamba inafaa mbolea imetoka kutoka katika kiwanda, wanafikiria unafaa ufuatane nayo wakati iko katika magara ya halmashauri ya nafaka, hakikisha iko sawa kabla haijafika kwa wakulima. Kwa hivyo ni vizuri uongee, uaelezee kazi yako katika msakato mzima, katika mambo ya kuhakikisha kuna ubora wa bidhaa. Unafanya kazi vipi? Chukua mfano kama katika mambo ya mbolea, kuanzia ifike katika inafaa iwe namna gani kuanzia kutengeneza mbolea baada ya ununuzi na mpaka mwisho.
Chair.
Senator Chute.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. I think we are here today because of fake fertilizer issues, and the issue are between companies which are SLDR, MEMS and KEL. I would want Madam to tell us, we know what Kebs are doing. Tell us what you found on the issue of these three companies, the fertilizers you've seen, the ones you've tested with your officers. Tell us the story about those fertilizers, if they are fake or substandard or meet the quality. That is why we are here today, and you see companies are here. Let's discuss that issue. We know when somebody wants to manufacture something, they go through you, but you don't go to their stores to check what is being delivered. So tell us the fertilizers that you found, the issue between KEL and MEM. Kindly go direct to that statement.
Thank you.
MD, I think I'll rule like this as a chair. I'll give you an opportunity. You know, I can see there is a lot of materials, senators, on question number 3, question number 5 also. It's whatever Senator Manzo is asking. So, MD, don't read. You can summarize. Don't read verbatim.
Okay.
So that you can save on the time. You explain, so where the senators will see the gap, then they can ask that question.
Okay.
So proceed.
Thank you, Chair. So I was responding to question 1, which was asking on the role that Kenya Bureau of Standards played in the procurement, distribution of the fertilizer under the National Government Subsidy Program. And I think that I have clarified that we did not play any role. And neither were the documents that were provided to the agency that was playing this role that purported that Kebs had certified those products. They were never verified with us. Yes, so I've clarified that on the issues of procurement, we did not participate, and there was no verification with us on the documentation. Any documentation that may have been provided to the agency that was procuring, they were never verified with us, whether they were authentic or they were not.
Are you telling this committee that the bags which have your symbol are fake bags or they are fraudulent bags?
I think, Senator Manzo, I give directions. Let's follow the direction. I gave them the opportunity to finish up in those questions because we're asking questions which are already listed. Then we identify the gaps and ask. At least we give her time without interruption. Then we'll ask questions, as many as possible. So, yes, after that, Senator Manzo, the MD will answer that. So, MD, can you proceed?
Thank you, Honorable Chair. On the question number 2, which asks about the parameters used to determine the fertilizer suitable for distribution across the country, the parameters are as per the standards, that Kenyan standards, and we have quite a number of them, which you have listed there. All the parameters, all the standards for fertilizer that should have been met by all fertilizer that is in distribution within the country. Question 3 was asking tests, if any, conducted by Kebs to certify fertilizer for distribution under the National Government Subsidized Fertilizer Program, including reports thereto. And in this one, I have said Kebs was not involved in testing and certifying the fertilizer specifically for the government subsidized program, and no such request was ever sent to Kebs. However, following the complaints made by the farmers on the fertilizer in circulation under the program, Kebs has since made requests to NCPB to provide the full list of brands of fertilizers that are in the subsidy program, and any other fertilizer that is being inspected. Then Kebs tests fertilizers during issuing of certification marks and whenever a market surveillance activity has been carried out. And further, Kebs tests on behalf of any manufacturer who may wish to be tested on their behalf. Question number 4 was asking a report, if any, on counties in which the fertilizer was distributed in the last 1 year. And since Kebs was not involved in the distribution, we do not have any information on this particular question. Question number 5 was asking a report, if any, on complaints received on the suitability of fertilizer distributed in the country for the last 1 year. We received intelligence on this fertilizer, and I think it will answer one of the questions I've been asked to be very specific. On 15th of January 2024, on the possibility of a substandard fertilizer in the market by the brand name GPC. And we immediately embarked on an investigation to establish the veracity of that claim. Kebs wrote to NCPB requesting to access samples for SBL. We wrote on 19th, and we received a response on 31st of January, and we commenced countrywide sampling from 5th of February. And this is what we established, that the product distributed by the name GPC Plus organic fertilizer is not certified by Kebs, that the product is not in the government subsidy program, and Kebs certified organic fertilizer by brand name SBL GPC Original as an organic fertilizer, which is not the same as what was seized in all the NCPB depots countrywide and condemned as a substandard and counterfeited product, thus not suitable for sale in the market. So Kebs had certified SBL GPC Original as an organic fertilizer after it fulfilled the requirements as per the Standards Act. And I have given in my presentation the whole process under which the product, the fertilizer we had certified, went through. And I have also indicated on page 8 under 2 that under Article 311 of the certification contract, which SBL Innovate signed with Kebs, the permit holder shall be responsible for guaranteeing that all the products which carry the standardization mark always meet the quality requirements specified in the relevant standard. So having confirmed compliance as described, SBL Innovate Limited was granted the permit to, and the permit is under Annex 5 for organic fertilizer SBL GPC Original against the Kenyan standard KS 2290 of 2018, which we have annexed. That was on 28th January 2024. So, honorable members, having signed the scheme of supervision and control, the economic operator, who is the SBL Innovate manufacturers, was obligated to consistently manufacture quality products and offer for sale certified products during the validity period of the mark. And that is in the Standards Act. So the actions we took after we tested and found that the product SBL was circulating in the market through NCPB stores. So under the standards, we suspended the standardization mark number 60392 for organic fertilizer, brand name SBL GPC Original. We did product seizures of all the products that was in NCPB warehouses. We also took legal action. Kebs has taken firm action against SBL in response to their violation of the standards. We have commenced legal proceedings by formally contacting the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution as per reference Annex 7, seeking prosecution for the offenses committed by SBL Innovate manufacturers. The DCI reached out to Kebs requesting for information as per Annex 16 to support the prosecution process. In response, we promptly provided all pertinent material evidence to DCI as per reference number Annex 17, aiding their investigation and reinforcing our commitment to ensuring SBL Innovate Manufacturers Limited are held responsible for their actions. We also issued a public notice, which we have annexed as number 12. Honorable Chair and members, now I go to the other manufacturer, which is Scale Chemicals Limited. And this factory, which is located along Garissa Road in Thika, produces 3 products, which were being supplied to the subsidy program. That is Kel Green, brand name, Kel Gold, and Kel Force, with the 3 permits which I have listed there. The fertilizer is distributed through NCPB, and the bags are marked as GOK Fertilizer Subsidy Program. The factory had applied for standardization mark. Inspection was carried out, and samples were collected and tests done. After complying with the standards, the firm was issued with permits for the 3 products on the dates indicated in the table above. Kebs received a concern raised on social media via WhatsApp video concerning Kel Green NPK 102610 fertilizer that was in circulation in the market as a subsidized fertilizer through NCPB depots. The complaint via the video circulating on social media indicated that the substance alleged sold as fertilizer had black and red stones mixed with manure and had a bad smell. Honorable members, I will go to page 10 on our findings when we went to the factory. Because on 22nd of March 2024, we went to the factory and we found what they were having as raw materials there. We also found the products which were there. And on doing physical inspection, we found out that the product was suspicious, and we took samples for testing. So the test results of the samples collected revealed that the fertilizer was non-compliant in macronutrients and moisture. Thus, all 3 fertilizer brands failed to meet the requirements of EAS 912 of 2019 for NPK. And the immediate actions that we took against Scale Chemicals was seizure of their products upon discovery of the non-compliant. We went ahead and seized the products which were in their factory. Then we did a directive to cease manufacturing. We issued a directive to Scale Chemicals instructing them to cease manufacturing of the non-compliant products immediately and suspended their permits. There are 3 permits. We have annexed under 8. Then a product recall, a formal letter was sent to NCPB requesting the recall of all the products issued, ensuring that any affected fertilizer is removed from circulation. We have annexed number 11. NCPB wrote to Kebs via another letter, which we have annexed as number 13, which indicated the brands distributed to farmers. Then Kebs has taken decisive steps to address the non-compliance of Scale Chemicals with the standards. As part of this effort, we have initiated legal action by formally contacting the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution as outlined in Annex 9. This action signifies our commitment to upholding regulatory standards and ensuring accountability within the industry. Furthermore, in collaboration with the DCI, we have submitted relevant documentation as detailed in our letter found in Annex 14 to support the ongoing investigations. This response is in direct fulfillment of a request made by DCI under Annex 15, where they sought laboratory test reports pertaining to Scale Chemicals fertilizer. These coordinated efforts underscore our dedication to ensuring compliance and safeguarding the public welfare. We remain vigilant in our pursuit of enforcing standards and holding accountable those who violate them. Honorable Chair and members, under question 6, I had been asked to outline the process of obtaining product certification from Kebs and a list of any companies or organizations whose fertilizer or brands we have certified in the last 3 years. It's a long process, but because this was one of the questions the members wanted to know on how we go about giving certification, I think it's important that I take you through the process, and I will be short. So the process of acquiring or granting a standardization mark includes the manufacturer submits a formal request to Kebs for grant of the standardization mark using a prescribed form. Then upon receipt of the application, Kebs undertakes a review which includes the applicable regulations, standards, and other requirements for the manufacture of the product. Then we undertake inspection to verify the applicant's ability to comply with the requirements stipulated in the standards, regulations, and any applicable code of practice. The inspection includes evaluation of controls in place to ensure that the manufacturer uses quality raw materials in quality control during production and evaluation of the final products based on the requirement of the Kenyan standard. The Bureau also tests samples of the products at our labs and any other accredited lab. Then upon satisfying ourselves that the manufacturer meets the requirements for the manufacture of the product, Kebs develops and signs a certification agreement, the scheme of supervision and control with the manufacturer. The agreement commits the manufacturer to consistently implement the quality controls and maintain records which should be availed to Kebs during surveillance inspections. Kebs issues the manufacturer a 2-year permit to apply the mark on the product label. The manufacturer is also required to print the permit number beneath the mark as a control that empowers consumers using their mobile number to verify its validity against the Kebs published database of certified products. During the permit validity period, Kebs undertakes surveillance at the factory as well as in the market to ensure compliance. Where a product fails to comply with the requirements specified in the standard, Kebs undertakes the following. One, require the manufacturer to review their controls and submit a corrective action to the Bureau. The corrective action is evaluated, and if acceptable, the manufacturer is authorized to implement it. Kebs may also order the manufacturer to recall all the products from the market of any affected batches of the product. This is based on the assessment of the impact to health, consumer safety, environment, or the principles of fair trade. Where the breach of the certification agreement is significant, Kebs may suspend the permit to use the mark as provided for in Section 10A of the Standard of the Act. Kebs may order the destruction of the substandard goods in line with the Act. Kebs may, in addition to the above, take legal action as per the provisions of the Standards Act, and where an order to stop production is issued, manufacturers shall not release any product until Kebs verifies the controls corrective action taken is satisfied that the controls are effective. Chair, I've also provided the list of all the farms you have certified, the ones whose mark are still valid. There are 51 farms with 172 brands as listed in that write-up. So that is my submission.
Yes, Senator Mbua.
I request that you allow me, Chair, to engage Kebs one-on-one, just a few minutes, Chair. The initial questions may sound awkward, but there is a place we are getting.
Okay.
So Kebs, very briefly, what is fertilizer? Very briefly, from Kebs' perspective, what would you say fertilizer is?
We have different standards for the fertilizer because we have different types of fertilizer, but we have both organic and inorganic fertilizers. So they are supposed to be providing macronutrients that are required by the plants as you use it to do farming. The fertilizer is supposed to provide the macronutrients in the soil that the plant needs as it grows.
But then there are components within it that must be at certain ratios for it to qualify to be called fertilizer. Is that true?
That is true.
Now, if I mixed cow dung and donkey feces and chicken waste and soil and pebbles, would it be okay for me to call that fertilizer?
It is not.
It is not. Chair, I'm asking this because there are names that have been thrown out there in the public, and the people are a bit confused. So what would you call that? Is it fake fertilizer? Is it substandard fertilizer? Is it soil booster? What is it? What do you call that? What do you call that concoction of things? What would be the name for it?
It is not fertilizer, therefore it is fake. If it is labeled as fertilizer, I would call it fake.
You would call it fake. So I want to take you to page 61 of your submission. I've lost it myself. These pages are also mixed up. Yes, the page with bags. original plus fertilizer. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
Those are documents that have come from you, right?
Yes.
Now, so in that description, what is this?
This photo is the one with a photo showing original plus fertilizer, the formula for success. This is not, the content in these bags was not fertilizer.
So what is it? Is it fake fertilizer? Is it substandard fertilizer?
It's not
is
even
it soil
substandard.
booster? What is this?
It is not a fertilizer.
It's not fertilizer?
No.
Thank you. So it's not even fake? I mean, it's not even fake fertilizer. It's not fertilizer at all.
It is not fertilizer.
It is not fertilizer at all?
Yes.
Thank you. So now, page 62. There is a Kebs logo on it. And chairman and members, the caliber of farmers that we have in this country, and I'm one of them, will make a choice on what to buy, mostly based on visuals, things that they see. Farmers, we have no capacity to test anything. It's just what we see. So, for those of us who believe in systems, so when we see a Kebs logo on a product, then it tells me it is legit, so I take it. So, do you notice a Kebs logo on this thing you're saying is not even fertilizer?
Yes, I see it.
When did Kebs first see this logo on this thing that you're saying is not fertilizer?
Sorry?
When did Kebs first see this?
Thank you. How I would want to respond to that question is that SBL Innovate, because this is one of the products, SBL Innovate applied for certification of their product, which they were calling organic fertilizer. And in January 2023, they were issued with a permit to supply a product by brand name.
Chair, I'm very sure a lot of members here have a lot of questions, so we don't want a lot of stories. I just want to know, when did you first see this? You have given us a history of how you do it, we understand it. When did you first see your logo, your seal on this product?
I'm trying to get to the point, because this is somebody who is using the Kebs logo on a product which is not certified by Kebs.
When did
it is misuse,
Kebs
it's a
first
breach,
see this?
It is a breach of the standardization mark.
We are getting there, madam.
Yes.
When did you first see this on this product?
When we went to pick the samples from NCPD.
After farmers complained?
Yes.
Now, chairman and members, we have before us the top leadership of our standards body. The body that is supposed to ensure that the things that we consume, whether eating or consuming otherwise, are of the highest quality. It's a constitutional requirement, actually. But he is an institution that only realized that there is something that is not even fake or substandard in the market after farmers have complained. I put it to you, Madam MD, that on their own testimony, SBL have gone on record before this committee. We have documents that say that they have supplied more than 800,000 metric tons of this thing for the longest time. And Kebs has never detected that. Secondly, Madam MD, after you realized that there are issues with this fertilizer and some other, I don't know if that's another thing or it's fake fertilizer or substance, we'll get there when you get to KO. What Kebs is doing is making a request, underline the word request, to NCPB, which according to us, according to farmers, is an accomplice in this crime. So you're asking them, Kebs is requesting NCPB to send samples of this thing that is not fertilizer for you to certify whether it is fertilizer. Madam MD, what will you say to that?
Thank you so much for that question. One, on the issue of what action we took when we got the information, Kenya Bureau of Standards did not just ask. The first thing we did, we went to NCPB stores, and that is what I have presented. So we went to NCPB stores on 15th of January 2024. We were not allowed access to pick samples.
Is that in your statement?
Yes, it is in my statement.
That you're not allowed access?
We were not allowed access. They said we go back and do an official communication. And that is when we did that official communication to NCPB on 19th of January, requesting, because now they said you have to request, and we requested that we are allowed, it's a government facility, that we are allowed to enter and do sampling. And we also asked them to furnish us with information of the product. And when we went, and the response came on 31st of January 2024, and immediately we set in and we went to all the NCPB stores and picked samples, and we did analysis.
The last question, Chair.
And on failure, we took action as per the Standards Act.
That's okay, Madam. My last engagement with her. So you write to NCPB on 15th.
19th.
19th
of January.
Of January. And the response comes in when?
31st of January.
31st of January. Almost two weeks? Almost 2 weeks, right?
2 weeks later.
In the interim, is this thing still being distributed to farmers, or what is happening? As you wait for them to comply with your request, what is happening?
Our communication to NCPB. Our communication to NCPB about this particular product was very clear that there's suspicion. The suspicion of the letter is under Annex 2, where we have indicated there's a complaint on the product, and we said we are in the process of investigating a complaint lodged with us regarding the quality of organic fertilizer branded GPC Organic that is said to be distributed to farmers through their depots. And the purpose was to bring this to their attention and to request for information on the stocks, as well as facilitation to access their stores where the product is stocked by the officers to enable sampling and testing, because that is the only way we would have determined the veracity of the complaint.
Chair, as I yield back to you and to other members, from where I sit, this conspiracy runs deeper than we think. And this committee, at some point, will be apportioning blame on all institutions, all agencies involved in this scandal. On your own volition, as Kebs, what share of blame will you be willing to bear on this scandal?
Honorable Member, I appreciate that question. Kenya Bureau of Standards has taken action as per our mandate. We have done what we needed to do. We received the complaints. We have taken action as per the Act, and we have not left anything behind. We have done whatever our Act allows us to do.
I yield back to you, Chair.
So, Chair.
Before I give to Senator Chute, an opportunity to ask questions. I think from my understanding, Kebs certified GPC plus organic fertilizer for supply, isn't it?
No, we certified a different brand, not
okay.
the one they were.
Okay,
they were
SBL GPC original is what you certified.
Yes.
Okay. Then, what was supplied was GPC plus organic fertilizer.
Yes.
So, do you want to say what was supplied is not what you certified? What was supplied was fake fertilizer from what you certified?
What SBL took to NCPB is not what Kebs certified. It is a different product with a different brand name. And if NCPB wrote to us or even contacted us to verify whether that is the right product which we had certified, this information would have come from the word go. So that information was not verified. The product that was being supplied through NCPB was not certified by Kenya Bureau of Standards.
Okay, number two, during the tendering process, of which we have the documents here, there are some documents which were supplied by the tenderers, which was a requirement from NCPB, right? Mm-hmm. Did NCPB do the due diligence to confirm whether the documents which were supplied by the tenderers, the tender documents, were genuine or were from you? Did they try to contact you on that?
No, we were never contacted.
So they used the document they had without consulting Kebs to certify whether those are genuine documents or not?
That is true.
And lastly, na hii nitauliza kwa Kiswahili ili wakulima pia wasikie. Kwenye barua ambayo ililetwa na NCPB, yenye uliandikiwa na NCPB, unajaribu kufuata kabla nipate hiyo document, Bwana MD, ningetaka nikuulize swali lingine. Wakati mlienda kuchukua samples katika maghala katika shirika katika halmashauri ya nafaka, mkakatazwa kuingia, mlipewa sababu gani ndio mlikatazwa kuingia kuchukua sampuli zenye mlikuwa mnataka? Na Kebs, ni kawaida ya Kebs kuandikia watu binafsi wafanya biashara ili muweze kuchukua sampuli? Ni kawaida. Na wakati mlinyimwa hiyo nafasi, mliambiwa sababu ni gani na NCPB?
Wakati maofisa wangu wa market surveillance walienda kwa hizo gara, waliambiwa hawawezi wakachukua samples, lazima kuwe na barua imeandikwa na Kebs ya kuruhusu tuchukue hizo samples. Sio kawaida. The act huwa inaturuhusu tuingie katika kila pahali kwenye production inafanyika, tuchukue samples without notice. Lakini wakati tulienda huko tuliambiwa hatuwezi tukaingia, tukaandika barua.
Kwa hivyo kuna uwezekano ya kwamba mlinyimwa ruhusa ili NCPB waweze kuondoa bidhaa zingine ambao walikuwa wanajua ni ghushi katika maghala ya halmashauri ya nafaka?
Hatuwezi tukajua kama hiyo ni sababu.
Swali la mwisho, katika barua ambayo iliandikwa tarehe 5 mwezi wa 4 mwaka huu, halmashauri ya nafaka walisema kwamba ile mbolea ambayo ilikuwa imetoka kwa Kel Chemicals ambayo ilikuwa imepelekwa katika halmashauri ya nafaka ilikuwa gunia 1115,323. Kweli?
Ndio, hiyo barua tulipokea kutoka NCPB.
Ni Annex 13. Na nasema kwamba jamaa uongo.
Inawezekana.
Hiyo swali nauliza kwa sababu waziri alisema kwamba ni magunia 3,000 peke yake ilikuwa ghushi. Lakini kama hamukuwa mpeana idhini na hamukuwa muangalia mbolea ambayo, na sisemi mbolea ya Kel Chemical peke yake, kwa sababu mbolea zote za wale walioleta mbolea, wafanyi biashara 11 walileta mbolea ambayo kulingana na venye umesema haikuwa imetathminiwa na halmashauri ya ubora wa bidhaa. Ni kweli ama uongo? Kwa hivyo ni kweli kama uongo, katika mbolea yote ambayo ilienda pale hamukuweza kuangalia ubora wake kabla haijapewa wakulima.
Wakati kuchukua samples, ile tulipata kwa kiwanda haikuwa imefikia hiyo kiwango. Kwa hivyo ile walikuwa wamesupply mbele na NCPD walisema wako na balance ya 6,639 kwa warehouse zao, lakini wamesema 108,684 walikuwa washapeana.
Kwa hivyo halmashauri ya ubora wa bidhaa haiwezi kuhakiki ya kwamba ile mbolea ambayo walikuwa washapeana ilikuwa nzuri ama ilikuwa mbovu, kwa sababu Mungu ana nafasi ya kuchukua ile ambayo tayari walikuwa washapeana.
Hatukuwa na nafasi ya kuchukua.
Kwa hivyo hamwezi kuhakikisha kwamba ilikuwa nzuri ama ilikuwa mbaya, sababu ilikuwa ishaenda. Hiyo ndio swali langu. Haya, swali la mwisho ili nipatie Senator Chute. Wakati mliofunguliwa pale mkapata kuna mbolea ya chemicals, kuna mbolea ya GPC, kulikuwa na mbolea ya MOP, kulikuwa na mbolea kutoka kampuni zingine kwa sababu ilikuwa na bando iko. Mliweza kuchukua sampuli pia mbolea zinginezo ili muweze pia kupima na kudhamini kama ziko sawa ama ziko sawa. Nunua mbolea ya kahawa kwa niaba ya wakulima gunia 4,200. Katika ule ununuzi wao walipata mbolea ambayo ilikuwa 17 ambayo ilikuwa sawa, kwa sababu katika vyombo vya ushirika Kirinyaga ni lazima kabla unyanunua mbolea kwa wingi uipeleke kwa maabara ya serikali. Kwa hivyo walipeleka 17 wakapeleka katika maabara ya Karo, ikawa iko sawa, lakini haikutosha. Wakambakisha mifuko 1,100 ambao hawakupewa. Wakaambiwa ile mbolea nyingine unaweza kuchukua ni mbolea ya mavuno ambayo ilikuwa 10, 26, 12 kitu kama hiyo. Kama kawaida na sheria pale wakachukua sampuli wakanunua gunia 4 katika halmashauri ya nafaka NCPBM. Ikaenda ikapimwa, na kabla hujatoka hapa nitakupatia majibu kutoka kwa Karo. Ilionyesha ya kwamba mbolea ambayo ilikuwa ya mavuno ambayo ilikuwa 10, 26, 12. Phosphorus ambao wanasema kwamba ni 26% ilikuwa na 3.6 na wala itanjwi hapa. Kwa hivyo kwa sababu kuhusishwa katika manunuzi na kuhakikisha kwamba ubora wa bidhaa ulikuwa mzuri, hiyo nafasi ulipewa kuchukua sampuli, ingekuwa vizuri ipimwe yote alafu majibu, na tutaendelea kuelekeza kama hii kamati kwamba tunataka hiyo majibu, kwa sababu kuna uwezekano mbolea na biashara ambayo imekuwa ikifanywa, kuna biashara ambayo imekuwa ikienda na kuna kipindi imekuweko. Tupate kujua yote iko namna gani. Tangu juzi wakati nilikuwa na mkurugenzi wa halmashauri ya nafaka hapa, nilimwambia wakulima hawajaipata mbolea. Shinda kupata mbolea ni kwa sababu wanaenda kupeleka mbolea kwa maabara. Kwa hivyo sisi kama kamati na Senator Wambua amesema ni kwamba hatujaridhika na hata ile mbolea ambayo iko katika magara ya NCPB. Maneno mingi inaweza semwa, lakini nasema Waswahili husema ukitaka kujua chochoro kula nauli. Nauli ishaliwa sahihi. Kwa hivyo kila kitu tunaizingatia. Ile mbolea yote iko katika halmashauri ya nafaka mpaka saa hii hata sisi hatuwezi kuhakiki kwamba ni mbolea ambayo iko sawa. Kwa hivyo ningeomba unapoenda pale kwa muda wa siku ambazo hazijaisha 4, sampuli na majibu ya mbolea yote ambayo imesambazwa na halmashauri ya nafaka. Tunataka hiyo majibu katika hii kamati, na kabla hujatoka hapa tutakupatia siku ili tuweze kuzingatia na kumaliza na hili jambo. Kwa hivyo nitapatia nafasi Senator Chute, alafu na tuko na Senator kabla ambayo ametujoin. Introduce yourself, Senator.
Thank you, Chairman. I'm Senator Beth Siango from Kitui County, a member of Agriculture Committee. Sorry, Chair, for coming late.
Senator Chute.
Asante sana bwana mwenyekiti. Nikiongezea vile swali uliuliza, ningetaka Madam atueleze chini ya sheria ambayo imeunda Kebs 496 kama ukiingia factory ama mahali yote unataka kuingia na umekatazwa kuingia, sheria ile imekupatia hiyo uwezo inasema ufanye nini? Ni uende uandike barua ama kuna hatua ungefaa kuchukua? Swali la pili nataka uandike ndio ujibu pamoja. Wakati umepata kampuni fulani ama mahali fulani imeuzwa vitu ambaye haingefaa kuuzwa hapo ndani, wale watu wamepatikana na hiyo vitu ambaye haikuwa imekamilika kwa kisheria, ungefaa kufanya nini? Ni lazima utafute wale watu wametengeneza hiyo mali ama wale waliuza ama wale waliweka kwa hiyo gala. Swali ya tatu, unaweza kubaliana na mimi nikisema vitu yoyote hiyo, sita kusema ni fertilizer, vitu ambayo iliingia kwa gala ya National Cereals and Produce Board na imeenda kwa wakulima na hawajauliza wewe uje uiangalie, utakubaliana na mimi nikisema hizo vitu imeuzwa ama imeenda kwa wakulima ni vitu ambaye sio fertilizer, ni fake? Asante sana.
Mkurugenzi, unaweza jibu hiyo, alafu tumpatie Senator Matinga nafasi aulize maswali yake pia.
Thank you, honorable member. Nitajibu hiyo swali ya mwisho, halafu my company secretary atajibu ile ya Standards Act.
Thank you, Chairman and honorable members. Indeed, Kenya Bureau of Standards has the power to enter any premises where they would wish to take samples or where there are any suspected commodities that are deemed to be substandard. That is provided for under Section 14 of the Standards Act, under the powers of inspectors, and they are allowed to enter any premises at which there is or is suspected to be a commodity in relation to which any standard specification or standardization mark exists. So yes, Kenya Bureau of Standards does have the power in an instance where, and that is Section 14, subsection 3, provides that where there's obstruction, where a particular person refuses entry, then the inspector may use such force as is reasonably necessary to effect entry, meaning then that an officer can enter by force in the premises. However, as Kenya Bureau of Standards, sometimes we do experience challenges in these situations, because when we go and collect samples, it is officers like any of us seated here who goes, unless we have any intelligence of situations where arguments may arise. You will just go by yourself or a number of you, and sometimes you might not be able to then forcefully enter unless you had police escort. And in this situation, then the officers were not able to forcefully enter into the premises. They had to retreat, because sometimes our own officers have even been in danger in such situations, and these are some of the challenges we face as Kenya Bureau of Standards. And you'll find in some situations we even have the police escort our officers there. In this situation, the officers were by themselves, therefore they could not enter forcefully. And also NCPB is a government agency as well. The Act further provides that in such a situation where a person refuses entry, then they are guilty of an offense. Ideally, if it is an ordinary manufacturer or somebody else who's not a government agency, it is you can directly proceed and sue. This is a government agency, hence the posture we took of writing the letter, because we have a directive, we cannot sue any government agency. And our view was, if they do not cooperate, then we will proceed under the AG and the head of public service, who handle disputes between government agencies. However, they proceeded to comply.
Madam, tell me, is there any law that the government agents works on than the rest of Kenyans works on. Because we are saying that if it was a common person, you could have sued that person. But because it's a government entity, you took another step because you can't sue them.
Yes, Chair, right. Chair, I think I agree with you, Chair. With your permission, I want to ask, what action have you taken? Yes, you cannot take them to court, but what action administratively have you taken against the MD, National Cereals and Produce Board?
Thank you. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Chair. When we wrote to NCPB, and they eventually wrote back to us, and we were able to access all their warehouses and collect the samples. And what we did after that is that for any other sampling we wanted to do, we were sending a letter. We wrote to them asking them to provide all the other subsidy fertilizers that are that they were distributing, and they responded, and we were able to go and do sampling. So they have been cooperative in terms of doing sampling of the rest of the products. Now, the third question that was asked was whether all the fertilizers which NCPB has been supplying has been fake, and the answer is no. We believe that the ones that we have picked out, which is the kale, green kale.
Chair, that's not my question. My question is the ones that you've not certified. They didn't, you told us, you told these honorable members that there are some fertilizers or whatever has been supplied, you've not been contacted to verify those goods that were delivered. So my question was, if the Kenyan farmers are saying that we were given fake fertilizers, the question I'm asking you, if I tell you today whatever you've not verified are fake fertilizers, would I be wrong?
I would only talk for the brands that we have already checked. They are those brands which have been received from Tanzania. Those ones we have been checking, and they are okay. The ones we have not.
Chair. My question is very clear. I don't have any dispute with the one you've inspected. But when these fertilizers were supplied to National Cereals and Produce Board, you were not invited.
No.
What I'm saying is, whatever that has been supplied, that you've not inspected, if I tell you, or farmers in Kenya, a farmer in Kenya tells you, those are fake fertilizers, would you agree with me? That the National Cereals and Board, the MD, National Cereals and Produce Board, released fertilizers, knowing very well that these fertilizers were not according to the standard, or the goods that were supplied are not according to specifications approved by you. And he received and released those fertilizers to the farmers, knowing very well that those are fake fertilizers. Would you agree with me that the MD, National Cereals and Produce Board, deliberately supplied these fertilizers out to the farmers without your knowledge?
I would not talk on his behalf on whether he did it deliberately, but what I know is that they did not verify with us.
That is, she's avoiding my question. Let me.
Yeah, I think our friend here is inviting the MD to speculate.
No. In fact, what I am saying is this. I want to get out of blame. That's why I'm saying what the MD has not verified. She can, yes, that's what I'm saying. She cannot answer to those. So I am saying she will agree with me if I say whatever you've not verified. If somebody says, I say it's a fake, you will agree with me, right?
I would only talk of what I have checked and verified.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. What you didn't verify, what do you call it? Because you agreed that they were fake fertilizers, or fake, even not fake. You said they are not fertilizers. Let me yield.
No. Senator Amatinga, Senator Chute is on the floor. So give him a chance to ask the question.
When the MD, National Cereals and Produce Board was here, he was blaming the Kebs MD because he was not here. But what I am saying now, very simply, that she has not inspected those things. They've not invited her to inspect those things. That is why we have fake fertilizers in the market today.
Let me help send the MD for Kebs. Basically, the question that Chute is asking, you know, wewe ndo mkurugenzi mkuu wa kuhakikisha kwamba bidhaa ambazo tuko nazo ziko sawa. Unaweza simama ukasema bidhaa ambazo hujatathmini ziko sawa. Hiyo ndio swali ambayo Senator Chute nadhani anajaribu kukuuliza.
I would not.
Yeah, hivyo tu ilikuwa tu swali ambayo ulikuwa nakuuliza. Madam MD, you know, when we invite you as the MD for Kebs, speak on yourself, on behalf of Kebs. These people are not speaking on your behalf when they are here. Unajua mimi nina msemo nasemanga na watu wanafikiria naongea lugha ambayo haifai. Usikae katikati kama sehemu nyeti. Ukitaka kufurahisha pande hii na pande hii, wewe ndio utaumia. Ongea ukweli wa Kebs, wewe ndio uko hapa leo. Wakati walikuwa hapa, walikuwekea mizigo mingi kushinda punda, umbembe. Say what you know and what is correct and what is right. That's all that we want to know. Because ukiangalia kama saa hii swali yenye unaulizwa na Chute, tayari mmetuambia majibu ya mbolea ambazo tayari ushachukua sampuli hayajatoka. Na ikitoka iseme ni gushi. Utakuwa unatetea watu ambao hufai kuwa unatetea. Kwa hivyo hauna majibu ya zile mbolea zingine ambazo sio kama Cal Greens. Kwa hivyo inaweza tokea ikawa ni gushi pia.
Point of order.
Yeah, so
I'm
a point of order. Then
the chair is on the mic. Are you listening?
Yes, I'm raising a point of order on the chair. Yes, Chair, without looking like overruling you, your advice seems to be guiding the witnesses on what to say and not what to say. It's their responsibility to make the decisions on what they want to tell this committee.
Senator Mandago, you're out of order. Senator Mandago, you're out of order. I was just, you know, yes, I am just telling the MD for Kebs to speak on herself. Not because if we need NCPB, we'll call the MD for NCPB. So I'm not guiding the, and I think Senator Mandago, I tried to get you, but I couldn't see you. So that information you're having, maybe it's a wrong information. I never tried to guide the MD. But on a light touch, we should also give information where we think we should give information. Senator Amatinga, then before you was Senator Keroche, then Senator Siengo, then you next, when you are not around. They had already been, they were on the mic already. Senator Matinga.
Thank you very much, Chair. Indeed, a very sad situation we are in. When, my first question to the MD is, are there incidences in the past where the mark of quality has been misused by other manufacturers or other producers? That's the first question. Then the second question is, does Kebs have a policing unit that gives them backup when they are going for such missions, when they've got information that some products have been are not meeting the standard? And then this one was put also here on the floor, and I would want you to give us your definition of the same. If a blade, which according to the standard, which is supposed to be 500 grams, baked from the components that are identified like wheat and the rest, if the same blade is made from sawdust and cement and some pebbles, would you still call it a substandard bread, or would you call it something else, or do you call it a fake bread? The last question is, how many products have you been able to give certification? And the last question is, how many enforcement officers or team, your personnel, resource base, how many officers do you have? I think that would be it for now, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Member. To respond to your questions, do we have any incidences in the past for misuse of the permit? Yes, we have had incidences where we find a manufacturer is misusing the permit or they're using an expired permit. And what have we done? We have always taken action on such incidences because it is provided for in the Standards Act. Do we have a policing unit for backup of such missions that we take? Yes, we have a policing unit, and we always ask for backup depending on the premises where we are going to do raids. And for this instance of the NCPB, first when my officers went originally, we did not expect that we would not be allowed in because it is a government institution. It is not somewhere that we would have gone to raid with the police, with our police unit, but we went now as our officers, government to government, but that is the information we got. And how many officers do I have? For the enforcement team, I have about 55 market surveillance officers. I have certified currently about over 26,000 products that we normally do surveillance on. So with that number of market surveillance officers, what we normally do is risk-based surveillance. So we do risk analysis of the products that we have certified, and based on the risk analysis, then we do targeted surveillance of these products in the market. I think...
A supplementary question, Chair, if you allow.
Senator Matinga.
A supplementary question, Chair, if you allow.
Okay, one question.
One question. Thank you very much. You've said that you have 55 employees and you've certified 26,000 products. If I look at it mathematically, even if you are to look at risk-based kind of surveillance, then Kenyans still learn at a very, very high risk that some of the products will not be covered by the 55 members of your personnel that you have.
Honorable Member, the 55 employees are the ones under the market surveillance, the ones who do that particular job of going out and doing surveillance. And with this number of certified products that we need to do surveillance, even when we do risk-based analysis, we realize that number is not enough. And therefore, we have embarked into developing some and making a request for our enhanced human resource. So we have developed new human resource instruments where we are requesting for a beef up of our surveillance inspectors as well as our officers who are involved in the quality assurance.
Senator Keroche.
The bread question has been answered. The bread question. The question on bread. You asked a question on bread.
So, the question on the bread has not been answered because that was given as an example in this house, and I wanted, that's very, very important for us to know the answer.
Okay, my apologies, member. What is the way I can define or I can differentiate between a fake product and a substandard product? A fake product is a counterfeit, is a product which is not the same product that the person is claiming to be. So if you put bread in a paper and call it bread, and the ingredients inside there are not for bread, that is fake. A substandard product, and I will give the example of fertilizer. Substandard fertilizer is where the manufacturer has declared NPK of 10, 26, 10, meaning those are the parameters that the manufacturer is guaranteeing the consumer, that when you buy this fertilizer NPK, it has 10 nitrogen, 26 phosphorus, and 10 potassium. And then when we do testing against the standard, we get 5, 10, 5. That is a substandard fertilizer. It means it is not meeting the requirements of the standard.
Thank you, Chair. And Kebs, the MD for Kebs and the team. Maybe it's not a speculation, but it is true. Whatever you acted on was on a social media that we also running in the social media, run by Anna Namo. I think that's the one that woke you up and you started acting. So my question will be, you have field officers. The company you call SBL has been in the market since 2022, May. And you came to discover that they were distributing, whatever you're calling it, fake fertilizer in January 2024. After that, a clip that was running in the social media. Beaten once, twice shy. I've seen this media thing being, sponsored by competitors. And
Senator Keroche.
Okay. Let me go straight to the whatever.
Let me say something. We are having the Kebs MD to answer on the matter of fake fertilizer. The issue with the media and castigating the media is not allowed in this committee. Because we did call the media, we did call the sponsor of that, the African incessant. You could have come and had your issues there. So for now, ask question regarding the fake fertilizer. Okay. Please.
The fake fertilizer ran from 2022 to 2024 January. 2022 to 2024 January, almost 2 years. And your field people never discovered this. So the big question will be, how sure are we that whatever is going on, or whatever we are consuming, even the fertilizers that are going on in the market, that they are not fake, as Senator Chute is asking? Because I think you are all equipped, and you have enough staff to ensure that they're in the field and they can hear the the consumers or the users complaining. I don't think it will take you 2 years to know that there is a product that is not quality or not doesn't meet the standard, and yet it is been running in the market, and even through the cereal boards, as we put it, and you've not even discovered that. So I think that is a question that I'll be asking. And then, of course, when it comes to the fake fertilizer, it's good to separate, as the CS said, fake fertilizer and the substandard. You know what you do with the substandard. You ensure you work with the manufacturer to ensure that they meet the standard, but you don't condemn. I know, I've been in manufacturing, I know that. So you don't condemn a product, but you ensure you work closely with them to ensure they meet the standard that you're looking for. But when it's come to fake, that one surely should not be in the market.
My point of order is, I think our deputy whip should declare her interest. My deputy majority leader, deputy majority leader should declare her interest on this matter.
No, it's okay. If Chair, you allow me, yes. One of the company being mentioned is about it's a distributor of a mining. Let's say we call it a natural resource from Nakuru County. That is the atomite. So I would never want a natural resource from Nakuru County condemned. If they have they are not able to measure the silica we are hearing is supporting the soil booster. Senator they better say, the Kenya Bureau say. But the manufacturer, the distributor will go away.
The chair is on the mic. Senator Keroche. I think we are getting lost here and have guided well enough. Na hivi ndo tunasema hata sisi mahali tumetoka tuko na malighafi. Senator Ambua ako na coal Kitui. Senator wa Matinga ako na udongo mwingi sana wa kutengeneza nyungu. Senator Chute ako na chumvi. Kwa hivyo hata kama kuna malighafi mahali fulani venye tunasema haifai kuuziwa wakulima kama mbolea ambayo haitawasaidia. Kwa hivyo ndio maana tuko hapa. Kwa hivyo ukija hapa kama senator na kwanza kama rafiki wa kamati, uliza maswali itatusaidia kung'amua waliotenda hichi kitendo. Hata kama udongo ulitoka Nakuru au huko ikauzwa ikiwa si mbolea.
Yeah. Chair, please.
Lazima tutaangalia hiyo. Ngojeni kwa sababu
let me just respond to that.
Chair, please, on that issue.
Yes, a point of order from
Kebs has already pronounced itself on that product that appears on page 61 and 62 of their document. It is not fertilizer. It is not fake, it is not substandard. It is something, it is not fertilizer. So let's not even discuss that product that is being sold by SBL through NCPB as fertilizer, because it is not fertilizer. So that we are procedural, Chair. So if anybody wants to ask anything about SBL product, then they should give us a name for it, because it is not fertilizer. We are here to deal with the fertilizer issue in this country. I thank you.
Senator Mondege. And it's a point of order regarding...
Yes.
Yeah.
Chairperson, kuna mambo nataka nisungumze kidogo tukiendelea. Ningeomba deputy majority ni friend of this committee, lakini ningeomba atupe nafasi aondoke kwa hii kamati, kwa sababu tunajua ako na interest fulani. Mimi najua CPK ile iko kule, tunajua, tunasikia.
Point of order, Chair.
Yes.
Senator Mondege. Senator Mondege.
Kwa sababu
anaweza
kuchanganyisha sisi.
Point of order, Chair. Point of order, Chair.
Yes, Senator Mandago.
Honorable Chair, I am raising understanding on the number 105 on responsibility of statement of fact. Can Senator Mondege table before this committee evidence that the senator for Nakuru has interest? That is imputing improper motive on an honorable member of this house.
Nikipatiwa time, nitaleta evidence CPK ambaye ni mtu anaitwa Kariuki, na ninaona hii analeta hapa, nitaleta.
Senator Mondege, utakaa chini, ukipata ushahidi utaleta wakati utasikizwa katika kamati.
Okay, maybe I can...
Kwa sasa, Senator Keroche, endelea umalizie.
I finish. Also, what I'm saying, what I'm really driving at, it is Kenya Bureau, you have your capacity, whatever capacity you have. But our natural resource of diatomite, it distributes other things, many other things from the Nakuru County. So that's why now we should say it is not fertilizer, we agree it's not fertilizer, whatever you are saying, but we should not condemn. We should think on how we will support the manufacturing of the diatomite. They do many other things, and I'm sure when you go to the market, you see. So that we don't use the media and whatever they purported that in Udongo. It is not Udongo. It is a natural resource called diasmesia that produces many other things. And among them is one of the fertilizers called silica. Thank you.
Senator Keroche, and now you are finished. I will not give that point of order to Honorable Matinga. You see, we have Fertilizer and Animal Foodstuffs Act, which is very clear. And I'll proceed and read what is fertilizer according to the Kenyan law, so that we don't keep on going, it's organic or it's what. Fertilizer means any substance or mixture of substances which is intended or offered for improving or maintaining the growth of plants or the productivity of the soil, but it does not include, underline, manure. So any fertilizer, when it has manure, it's not fertilizer. Compost, wood ash. Senator Matinga, you're out of order. The chair is on the mic. Gypsum or refuse when sold in its original condition and under the same name. nor does it include organic fertilizers other than lime. So if it's lime, it's fertilizer. If it's something else, either organic or not, it's not fertilizer as per the law. So, and I think that's where I am, so that I can give Senator Beth Siengo to ask a question, then I'll give the chance to Senator Mondege, Senator Mandago. Then we can go because we have other stakeholders with us today. And I want to promise that I have this committee, which is a very generous committee, made of farmers, will be offering lunch to everyone. So there is no reason for panicking. So, because I think we have a long day. So you'll have something to eat on that. So, Senator Beth Siengo.
Thank you, Chair. And allow me to declare that I'm the only woman in the Agriculture Committee. And for this matter, I've been listening since we started. Chair, I would refer the MD and the team to page 11 on an issue of surveillance. And mine will be kind of advice that Madam MD kindly advise your team to be conducting periodic surveillance. If you could have been doing it, your mark of quality could not have been used by criminals to do their business. Chair, on the same breath, what I'm getting out of this old saga of fake fertilizer is that men have conspired in this nation.
Point of order, Chair. Point of order, Chair.
Senator Siengo, can you proceed?
You are at your time to speak. Allow me to speak.
Chair, you're not going to allow it to be men.
Senator of Ngari, allow me to speak. It's my time. I'm a member of this committee.
It is not about men. It is not gendered.
Senator,
you don't even listen to know what I'm saying.
Chair. Senator,
it is not gender.
I am the one in charge.
Yes.
Point of order, Chair.
So, Senator Matinga,
point of order, Chair.
Point of order has been denied. Proceed, Senator.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you for protecting me, the girl child. I want to say, Chair, that following this story since it started, by the way, I'm the ODM Women League President, and I protect all women in this nation.
How is that related to fertilizer?
Chair, my point was, since this issue started, it is like men have conspired to bring down an innocent, beautiful woman, the MD for Kebs.
Senator Siengo.
Chair, looking at the presentations that have been made in this committee and to this committee,
Senator Babe.
the CS of Agriculture is not clean.
Chair,
the CS of Agriculture is not clean.
Senator Babe,
he has conspired. How was the tendering process done, Chair?
Senator Babe Siengo.
Let me finish, Chair.
Senator Babe Siengo, you know, as much as I'm protecting you, I think you should desist from going that path for now. I know you are the women president, but Senator Chute of Marsabit, you out of order.
Chair, allow me to finish. You don't know
Senator Beth Siengo, please, let's go the matters which concern the fake fertilizer.
Chair, I'm saying that looking of the processes that are done, government has processes, tendering processes, then distribution processes. The institution, the government agencies involved in this, there are specific men who conspire to make money out of this process, to rob Kenyans, and now they are throwing the mess to this girl. They are throwing the mess to the MD of Kebs. Chair, this is not allowed.
Senator Beth Siengo, there is a point of order from Senator Wasinigishu.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair, the proceedings of this committee are governed by the standing orders of the Senate. Standing Order 105 is very clear that every member who makes submissions to this committee or the House, Honorable Chair, must be responsible for the facts. Honorable Chair, Standing Order 105, the Honorable Senator Betty Shengo should provide evidence to this House that there is a conspiracy by men to bring down women. Honorable Chair, we cannot sexualize every other statement that comes to this House. This committee is investigating a very, very serious matter that borders on economic crime. The responsibility of Kebs cannot be underestimated in unraveling the challenges. The losses that are going to be occasioned to this country, Honorable Chair, by this fake fertilizer scam and all its that go with it, is a very serious matter. I represent a county whose economy is entirely dependent on agriculture. Therefore, to trivialize the matter of fertilizer into a matter of men and women is not in order. Can she substantiate or provide evidence, failure to which she should withdraw that statement?
Chair, please.
Senator Wambua.
Chair, we started off very well, and I believe you are doing well. My appeal to my colleague, my dear sister, Beth, the issue that we're dealing with, as Senator Madagwa said, is actually an issue that borders on national security, not just food security. It is an issue that, because we are almost establishing that it's a cartel, it's a chain of people involved in a deliberate attempt to sell fake things for reasons only best known to them. I think the Speaker, Mr. Chairman, I would really, really request my colleague, my friend, my sister, to step down from that route of men conspiring to sacrifice a woman, because then that becomes a different conversation. I do believe that in this chain, there will be women who will be found in this chain of people selling these fake things. But this is, in my view, and because I'm a man, and I want to declare it here, that when she came in, I did not just see a woman who has walked in. I saw the MD of Kebs, the person responsible for the quality of standards of whatever it is that I consume in this country. The Chairman, I really plead, but if not possible, then I've just made my plea. I thank you.
Chair, I can't. Chair, thank you. Actually, I've sat here and listened to the responses the MD of Kebs was giving. She was not aware of what was happening. And so that's why I'm saying, when the CS for Agriculture denies involvement in this saga, even dilutes the argument and the evidence that has been given, and says that it is not fake fertilizer, it is substandard. What does that mean? Men have made money, they are cartels, and they want to bring down a woman because she is at the helm of an organization.
Senator Siengo, inaonekana unataka kufanya maisha yangu magumu kama mwenyekiti wa kamati. Tafadhali Senator Siengo, tusiende hiyo njia. Tunaelewa uchungu wako, lakini usiende hiyo njia. Kwa hivyo, hiyo maneno ambayo umesema imesikiwa, tutafikisha hapo. Nipatie Senator Mondege nafasi, halafu Senator Mandago tuweze kumalizana na Kebs kwanza.
Let them be answerable, Chair. Let the men involved this cartel.
Wait, Senator Siengo, tafadhali, your time is up. Senator Mondege.
Chair, swali langu ni kwa Madam Ngari, na pia naunga mkono vile Senator Siengo anasema. Ningeuliza Madam Ngari, kulingana hii upelelezi tunafanya hapa, tumeelewa ni kama hii mambo ni kama au kuielewa vizuri. Ningeomba wakati ulipatiwa kiti ya kuangalia hizi vitu, mambo ya Kebs, Kuna wakati hata moja uliweza kuambia serikali ama kuandikia proposal, kwa sababu tunajua binadamu ni ule mmoja tu, walikuwa na Yesu kama Judas. Kuna siku hata moja uliandikia serikali ukaambia kila kampuni ambaye umepatia barua kama una kidhibitisho ya kuwa akitengeneza bidhaa kama fertilizer, kama maji, kama sonda, pale kwa mashini kununuliwe mashini ambaye ni ya kupima. Ndio wakati wale mwenye kampuni atatemba na ile kitu, tujue kitu ni feki ama sio feki. Kwa sababu vile tunaona kunaweza kuwa ni vitu nyingi sana zimekuwa zikitengenezwa, na ndio naona kuko na ugonjwa ya kuumwa na tumbo na ya kanza. Kuna wakati kama hiyo kuisaandikia serikali ikufacilitate vitu kama hizo, ya kuwa kila kampuni inaweza kuwa na kidhibitisho chake ya kuangalia kazi gani inafanywa. Kwa sababu mimi naunga Madam Mbedi mkono, ni kama hakuna vitu kama hizo katika serikali yetu ya Kenya. Asante Bwana Speaker, Bwana Chairperson.
Madam MD.
Thank you, Chair, honorable members. I would want to start by responding to the question by Honorable Senator Tabitha. And her question was on how sure are we of the products that we are consuming, and why SBL continue to supply products for over a period of time. And I want to bring these members to the contract that was signed between NCPB and SBL in 2022, March. It is not in my documentation, but I know it was presented by Agriculture. And in that contract, which was signed on 31st of March 2022, had 3 products in it. Among the 3 products that NCPB entered into a contract to supply Kenyans with was 51 Capital Animal Supplement, GPC Guard, and Artomasius. I want to confirm to this committee that these 3 products had not been certified by Kebs. They were being supplied through NCPB and they had not been certified. And in the same contract, under part 2 where it is written quality, it is written the principal assures the agent that it shall deliver to the board's designated regions, depots, and silos products meeting the Kenya Bureau of Standards. This was never done. These products were being supplied through not normal means of supplying products to Kenyans. These are not normal markets. It is through the agency and through National Cereals and Produce Board. These products were being supplied, and they didn't have the mark of quality, and no verification was done. And these products which were being supplied as diatomaceous, I have copies of delivery notes by 51 Capital, and on the delivery notes it's written GPC diatomaceous fertilizer. This was not fertilizer. So what I want to say is that whatever was being supplied through NCPB was not certified by Kebs. And that is the same thing that continued. When now GPC came to us in January 2023, they got the permit for GPC organic fertilizer. They changed the brand name. They started calling it GPC Plus Fertilizer. They packed different product and they continued supplying through the same means. So we are not responsible for what NCPB has been supplying to Kenyans. Kebs is not responsible.
I think that's very clear. That's very clear, members. Continue, Madam MD.
On the issue that has been asked by Senator Mudigi on how we do our work and how we control the use of the mark, the Standards Act is very clear and it guides us on how we are supposed to do. The capacity of a regulator, when we give the mark to a manufacturer, and this time I want to use the KEL chemicals because they are here. They came to us in January 2024 and they applied for the mark, for the use of the standards mark. Yes, we gave the mark, we checked their factory, they were producing the product, we picked samples, we tested, they met the Kenyan standard. And we gave the mark for NPK for the 3 products. What happened after that? When they continued supplying to NCPB, they changed the formulation of the product they were supplying. What they do in their factories, under those closed doors, we cannot be in control. We can only assure for the products that we have tested and we have used scientific method to say it is either fake or it is substandard. We cannot take responsibility for a manufacturer who deviates from producing what we have certified them to produce. I submit.
You wanted to ask a follow-up question on that? Senator Mondigi? You okay? All right, so we go to Senator Madago.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. My question to Kebs is, you have regional offices, and I'm aware you have an office in my county, in Eldridge. Do you require of those offices to make inspection visits around the areas of jurisdiction? And if they do, what are the reports that they have submitted within the last 6 months from that place? Because one of the companies in question is a manufacturer in that county, and they are less than 10 kilometers from the office of Kebs in Eldred. Number two, Honorable Chair, from when this matter was highlighted, as Kebs, have you then tested all the fertilizer or samples or sampled the fertilizers that are being distributed, not just the ones being supplied as subsidized fertilizer? Because one of the things that we must understand in the country is that not all farmers are actually using the subsidized fertilizer. There are farmers who go to buy from the shops because of the current situation we are in the country. Have you sampled fertilizers from all the suppliers then to test or ascertain to make sure that farmers are using the product that is certified and should be used? And finally, Chair, without taking us back, the MD for Kebs is a qualified MD for Kebs through competitive recruitment. It undermines the position of women in this country if women would continue to say, because so-and-so is a woman. This lady competed with men unfairly and squarely in a board that also men sat, found it fit as a professional with experience. It therefore undermines our position if our position is trivialized so that it is seen that she was given to serve as MD Kebs because she's a woman. That was not a consideration. It was a competitive interview. She qualified, and that is why she's an MD. So I want to dissuade women from undermining fellow women. In fact, no wonder they say the enemies of women are fellow women. Thank you, Chair.
Let's not go there. Members, I plead with you. Members, I plead with you. I plead with you. Let's remain relevant to the issues that we have here. These are serious issues and Kenyans are watching. Let's not go there. Let's just not go there, please. So, Madam MD, what I'll do is that I'll give each member an opportunity to ask the final question and a comment, and you take all of them in your closing remarks. Is that okay? So we'll start with Senator Beth Shango, going round.
Chair, thank you for giving me this opportunity. As the Senate Committee on Agriculture, our concern is to make sure that Kenyans are served and served well. I will only urge Kebs to do their duty diligently. But when it comes to people throwing mud at you, it is on this issue, not about women, but on this issue, You were not aware of what was happening, just from your submissions. And so, I would say, all those involved in robbing Kenyans must be brought to book. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Senator Beth. Let's go to Senator Tabitha.
I also want to maybe to take this opportunity, congratulate Kebs for the good work they are doing in this country. Just to ask them to remain, to act independently, because the whole of Kenyans rely on you and quality of whatever they consume. And then ensure you work closely with the manufacturers to ensure that they perfect whatever they did yesterday becomes better today, and looking forward to having many manufacturers in this country of ours. Let's not use politics, don't be guided on politics, act on politics, ensure that you remain independent on whatever you are doing, because Kenya will depend, for Kenya to grow, it is about how many manufacturers we build in a year. But you should not join the people to condemn any small manufacturer. Just work closely with them to ensure they grow to the multinational that we see across the world.
Thank you, Senator. Thank you, Senator Tabitha. Senator Mudigi.
Chairperson, swali langu tu ni ile Madam Ngari amejibu mambo ya vile ilifanyika, ni au kujibu kabisa kusema kama sasa tumeona vile kunaenda. Kama ni wewe unaweza kutusaidia ama kusaidia serikali namna gani ndio hii mambo iwe haitaweza kufanyika tena, kwa sababu tumeelewa kampuni zingine siko na stamp na zingine hasina, na pia unaona mko wachache, hakuna wafanyikazi, na pia unajua tumesema binadamu ni yule mmoja. Hii mambo ndio isikuje kufanyika tena. Ungetaka Senate ama serikali itakusaidia namna gani, kwa sababu hii ni kitu serious. Unaona vile kunaendelea, msigo inaweza kuja ni kama wewe na unaonekana hakuna mahali unaingilia na hii maneno. Asante Chairperson.
Thank you, Senator Mudigi. Senator Chute.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chair. Madam MD, in your statement this morning, you've said you've not been involved in the sale of subsidized fertilizer from the beginning up to today. Is the statement correct? Thank you.
And lastly, from members, Senator Madago.
Thank you very much. In addition to my last two questions, this has an indirect relationship with the fertilizer, and that is the animal feed. Because from the fertilizer, we grow animal feed. What are you also doing in that sector? Because the quality of animal feed also in this country is a problem. It doesn't contain what the packaging materials purport to contain. What plans do you have as Kebs to make sure that the standards are maintained? And what plans do you have to maintain your only dire asset, and that is the Kebs diamond mark of quality? Because as a Kenyan, when I buy a product and I see the Kebs certification, I go home convinced that I have the right product. Thank you.
Thank you. So let me also make a few remarks so that then the MD can respond to everything. Madam MD, the products that you have declared are not fertilizer, you traced them to a government institution that was distributing those products. Which institution was that? Where did you find these products? Those products belonged to SBL, some of them belonged to KEL, though KEL you found them in their own premises, and there was Mavuno. And the The common thread there is NCPBD. It's a common thread. Everything seems to just go to NCPB. Would you say, as Kebs, then that this government institution was used or allowed itself to be used by people to do two things? One, to bypass quality assurance tests, and secondly, to distribute for purposes for which this institution was not set. Secondly, your legal counsel, a company secretary, made mention to a directive, that they have a directive that they cannot sue any government agency. So if a government agency is involved in practices that threaten the lives of the Kenyan people, so Kebs can't touch. Whose directive was it? And is it in writing? Can that directive be given to us so we can challenge it? And lastly, maybe second last, a red flag has been raised through this government subsidy program on the supply of fertilizers. A red flag has been raised. Kebs has confirmed that, in fact, the products that farmers have been complaining about are not standard products. As Kebs taken it upon itself and moved on its own motion to test every other fertilizer in the market and just be sure that if fertilizer that is being sold through a government institution is fake, how more fake would fertilizers that are in the free market? Lastly, because you are here, you have an opportunity to make a request to Parliament in the Senate. What intervention, what legislative intervention would Kebs want from this institution to make you function better? Because clearly there is a missing gap. Kebs is an important institution, plays an important role, but it appears like anybody can just bypass Kebs and nothing happens. What intervention would you want from this Parliament to make Kebs a lot more responsive to the people of this country? Over to you, Madam MD.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Chair and honorable members. I will respond to the questions. I also note some of the things raised were comments. The question by Senator Mandago is about our regional offices. Yes, we have regional offices. We actually have 6 regional offices, and the reason why we have these offices is to bring the services closer to our customers or to Kenyans, and to be able to offer them services near them. So in these offices, we have officers who either quality assurance officers, we also have market surveillance officers. But as I stated earlier, the number of market surveillance officers are few, and therefore what we do during market surveillance is basically risk-based. So we identify the products which are high risk, and that is what we target. You specifically asked about a question on a particular manufacturer within that region. I would really not be able to respond immediately on whether we have tested the fertilizer in that particular factory, because I don't have the information with me right now, but I would be glad to bring back any information that might be required by this honorable committee. Then there was a question on what we plan to do what we plan to do to make sure that we are maintaining the integrity of our marks of quality. And honorable members, one of the things that we have done is that since the responsibility of guaranteeing continuous production and use of the mark lies squarely on the manufacturer, and they sign a scheme of certification which they guarantee that they will continually make sure that as they use our mark, the product they are producing are meeting the Kenyan standard. So what we are doing is that when we take the manufacturer or the industry players responsible for that, and therefore we get a product like now for example, this particular fertilizer, they are producing product and putting our mark on a product which they very well know it is substandard. We take them through the process of prosecution. We do not have prosecutors within ourselves, so we have to go through the office of the Director of Public Prosecution to prosecute these matters. And on that same basis, Chair, you asked on the request I would want to make to this committee. We have been trying to review our Standards Act. The Standard Act is in such a way that the penalties, one of the reasons why we have been trying to review the Act is because the penalties that are prescribed in the Act for manufacturers who have gone against the law or who have gone against the Act produce substandard product, the penalties are so low that manufacturers do not feel the pain when we take them through the process of prosecution. They are supposed to be fined, I think, 1 million shillings or a fine not exceeding 1 year. That is so minimal given the magnitude of what they are doing. So one of the things that I would request this committee and Senate to assist Kenya Bureau of Standards is to assist us with the approval of our bill, the standards bill, so that we can review and make sure that every manufacturer is held responsible for what they are doing, so that they don't deceive Kenyans with the products that they are supplying them in the name of using the mark from Kenya Bureau of Standards. And they very well know that the products they are producing, either they have changed the formulation or they have done something within their factory to produce a different product. So that is one of the things that, one of my major requests I would do to this committee. Chair, you have asked which institution were these products being we found. When this issue of subsidy complaints started coming from the farmers, that is when Kenya Bureau of Standards got information that actually this subsidy fertilizer in the country, and we found these products in NCPB. Those are the warehouses or depots where the products was being supplied. We have not seen the subsidy fertilizer being supplied through any other distribution outlets. So that is the only institution we are aware of. Whether the institution bypassed the QA test to distribute uncertified products, Chair, with the evidence that we have, and especially so the one for SBL Innovate, that product was not certified by Kebs. I can tell you it was not certified by Kebs since 2022. And they were using that particular means of distribution because they knew it is not the normal market where we would find these products. Those products were not certified, and the institution that was responsible for the distribution never came to Kebs to even verify the documents which were supplied to them. Are they even authentic documents? So we are not able to tell why And this is not a normal. We go to agrovets when we are doing surveillances, we go to agrovets. The recent surveillance we did for NPK, diammonium phosphate and MAP, we went to agrovets and picked samples and we did testing. And that answers the question on whether we have gone ahead and checked other fertilizers, not just what is in the government subsidy program. Yes, we have checked, and others are still ongoing. Noting that this issue of this fake product came about in March, so we are continuing to do the surveillance. But the surveillance we had done earlier on fertilizer, we had checked the ones which are found in agrovets and which are accessible by farmers direct, not through the distribution outlet that this particular product has been going through. So that answers the question on the red flag after it was raised. Yes, we have gone ahead and done the test. Then my company secretary had mentioned an issue of the directive not to sue other government agencies. I just want to make a clarification that this was an issue where there has been cases, not just the issue of suing because of something like this, but cases where different state corporations have been taking each other to court, and therefore we have prolonged court battles. And the directive was that we need to be discussing and resolving these matters. But on the issue of our accessibility, our accessing NCPB, when we wrote to them, they complied and they gave us the document that we were requesting and the data. Later, when we wanted to know which other fertilizers are in the subsidy, we wrote to them and they responded and they gave us details. When we sent the letter to tell them to recall the product from KL Chemicals and to stop distribution, they wrote back to us and gave us the information on what on the quantities that they were holding within their facilities. So I don't see a situation where we would have been pushed into going into a litigation or any or something like that with the agency involved.
That, madam, and I don't want to open up this discussion again. Only that you would definitely, or maybe you actually have already taken some manufacturers to court on account of manufacturing and falsifying documents and supplying substandard products in the market. And that supply chain involves NCPB. They are the sole distributors of those products. I don't see how then you will not sue NCPB. Because somebody will argue that I was asked to supply this, and it is what I supplied, then what will you tell the courts that you cannot bring the distributor to court? For what reason? Yes.
Yeah, I think he didn't answer my question. If you want, I can still repeat that question. I wanted to ask the MD. In her testimony, she said that she's not been involved in the fertilizer subsidy that was being handled by NCPB. So can you please confirm that you've not been involved?
My apologies. I did not answer that question. Yes, I want to confirm that Kenya Bureau of Standards was not involved in the entire process of procurement, the entire process of tendering, the entire process of testing the quality of what was in the subsidy program. We were not involved. And on the question, yes, our Standards Act, the Standards Act allows us or has given us the powers to prosecute any manufacturer who is involved in producing substandard product, and that's what we have done. But in the process of investigations, because the investigations are being done by DCI, in the process of investigation, the issue of the distributor are likely to come up. And of course, if NCPB are enjoined, then the process will continue.
Okay, thank you very much. Members, with your permission, we should now bring this to an end. And as you do that, Madam MD, I want to just give one directive to Kebs. There are fertilizers that you have tested, but the results are not out. This committee will expect you to furnish us with the results of those tests within 7 days, so that we know beyond what we have flagged, what are the standard issues with the other fertilizers in the market. So in 7 days, please bring those results. Secondly, on the issue of the review of the Standards Act, this committee will be happy to look at what legislative proposals you have and walk the journey with you, because our interest is to take care of our people. That's what our interest is. And so engage our secretariat. Let us know how far you've gone. Let's see what it is that we can do together to help you do your job better. Having said that, I want to take this opportunity to thank you for appearing, and because the other people have listened to you responding from the hot seat, I will request that you sit there and listen to them also responding from their hot seats, because we'll be, as the chair said, I think the committee has been generous enough, we will be having our lunch at the end of this conversation. Members, if you allow me, we can move to the next chemical.
Honorable members, Mr. Patel is willing to give the whole story from the genesis of the letter and this now what we're calling conspiracy. But there are names that he might maybe mention in the statements which we feel that he will maybe give this in camera. That we did the same in the National Assembly House, so that the story is very elaborate for all of you to pick the details as they happened.
Okay, that's good. Chair.
Is Senator Chute, first alafu Senator Wambua.
Thank you very much, Chair. I want to talk about Mr. Patel. There are 3 issues here, 3 people. One is you, then Kebs, also National Assembly, were involved in this matter. When you were before the National Assembly, you were asked, Mr. Patel, to explain how empty bags found its way into your premises. Your answer was, you said the packaging was supplied by LLP, Supreme Packaging LLP. It was possible MEMS printed extra bags. That is your evidence before the National Assembly. And then MEMS, on item number 28, said the manufacturer, based on their own admission via the letter dated 4th April 2024, and their manufacturer's authorization dated 21st December 2023, containing the warranty and guarantee, and are obligated to compensate farmers for all the substandard fertilizers. When I come to Kebs, the MD today, in her evidence said that when you brought your fertilizer for inspection, it passed, but then you signed a document saying that you'll be held responsible if your fertilizers are found to be substandard. I want you, as a Kenyan, you are being watched, these proceedings being watched by Kenyans today. I want you to tell Kenyans, yes, and a manufacturing entity can make mistakes, to tell Kenyans that, yes, there was a mistake, and you, because even Kebs has evidence that shows that you, in your factory, they came to your factory and found that there are some standard material in your factory. can you tell Kenyans today, as a Kenyan, that yes, there was something wrong, there was manufacturing batch which was not according to the standard, and you are sorry, or you want to tell Kenyans, Kenyan farmers, that you don't care what they've seen or what they are thinking, that you are not wrong, your factory has produced 100% good material. Thank you very much, Honorable Chairman.
Bwana MD, na ukijibu hiyo swali, hata kama hujataja majina, ukiwa kule katika bunge la kitaifa, ulisema kwamba kuna watu walikutishia, kuna watu walikuuzia uoga wengi. Lakini baadhi ya wale watu ambao walikuwa wanakuuzia uoga, bahati nzuri tuko na mmoja hapa, ambaye ni mkurugenzi mkuu halmashauri ya ubora bidhaa, Madam Esther Ngari. Tukimalizia, mkurugenzi, utatuambia uliuzia MD wa Kelgreen uoga kiasi gani, kwa sababu uko hapa, kwa sababu umetajwa mahali. Kwa hivyo mkurugenzi mkuu, maybe unaweza jibu hiyo maswali ya Senta Chute kabla tujaenda hapo.
Next, when the complaint comes, we have the compensation policy, which we have put in our annex. But if let me answer that question, because till today we have not received in our with the bag or any complaint to the KL Chemicals brought before any bags or any other, the written complaint to bring to us, which we have not received. Then the number 3, because I'm training all the Kenyans and the farmers, we have the written samples which we can even retest it, and we checked whether those are the correct or not. We are ready to also send the, according to honorable member, we have ready to supply what raw material we have bought and what we have produced and what is the, so which we can check based on that whether there is a point of right or wrong the formulation.
My question to Bwana MD Patel is, you are facing Kenyans today. It is your opportunity to tell Kenyans, yes, there are manufacturing lines which can produce substandard material, not deliberately, but by mistake. Or then you can tell Kenyans that, yes, you are sorry. No,
Senator Chute, now you are directing the MD.
No, I'm not directing him.
Maybe you can frame your question in another matter.
Okay, let me reframe it then.
Yes, please.
Chair, my question is very simple. I want Patel to tell Kenyans, I have not produced any fake product or substandard product, or yes, I have produced, I am sorry. That is a simple question.
MD, up to you.
Yeah, so I'm saying we have not produced any fake fertilizer until today, and also we have not heard any allegation or also we have all the samples. After the allegation, we have already submitted the sample to Kebs, and we have got the result which I have submitted in our report.
But also, Bwana MD, in your apology letter, page number 58, which is clearly saying, which is written to MEMS from KL Chemicals, and it's dated. I'm looking for a date. It doesn't even have a date. But it's written, it's about the NPK in 1026-10, recall. So you have recalled, and you have said, kindly accept our apology for any inconvenience caused. We assure of our continued cooperation and quality assurance. This letter did not go to any government entity. It was not addressed to the Kenyans or the Kenyan farmers. It was addressed to MEM Chemicals before you, apologizing for giving them fertilizer which was substandard. Now, how can you say about this letter? Because it's your letter. Do you want to deny that this is not your letter and it's in MEM's submission? Is it your letter or you are denying this letter?
Before he answers that, Chair, there is a lead that the lawyer has given us. And Chair, I plead with you, Chair, that you grab that lead. He said that Mr. Patel, has a lot of information that he wants to share with this committee, but is afraid he cannot do it on camera. That is the moment at which, Chair, if I were you, I'll plead with you, you stop everything else, you go into seclusion and get as much information as you can get. I am a journalist. Yes. And every journalist understands that the one thing that will all go against is the security and protection of our sources. And if he feels that there is information, if we give that information on camera, if his life is in danger, it is not the business of this committee to endanger anyone. Yeah. But this man has information, Chair. Yes. And that information could actually be the only thing that we have been looking for since we started this entire journey. Yes. I submit, Chair.
I do concur with you, but then that means we hold our interaction with chemicals. We dispense off with MEMS, although they also have some information they want to share in camera. So can we then dispense off with MEMS? I do agree with my colleagues that we need to go to insecurity inclusion.